You just clicked on this video. Did you choose to do it? Or did your brain decide before you even realized it? Maybe it was the thumbnail, the title, the color. Maybe your brain made the call seconds ago, and your sense of "I chose this" is just an illusion. This isn't science fiction. It's brain science, and it's rewriting everything we thought we knew about free will. Because every day you're making choices, or at least you think you are. Coffee or tea, left or right, break up, or give them one more chance. But if your brain's already halfway there before you even blink, who's really in control? Buckle in. We're going into your head, and it's a bit weirder than you think. Okay, rewind to 1983. A neuroscientist named Benjamin Libet is about to mess with our sense of reality, using a stopwatch, a button, and a volunteer with wires glued to their head. The task, simple. Whenever you feel like it, move your finger. Just flick it. No rules, no instructions. Just do it when you want. But here's the twist. While the volunteer waits for the urge to move, the machine is watching their brain. And it's not playing fair. Libet discovered something weird. About 300 milliseconds before the person even felt the urge to move, their brain was already warming up the motor cortex, like a race car revving before the green light. In other words, the brain made a move before the person felt like they had made a decision. It's like your brain whispering, "Hey, press the button." And then your conscious mind catching up and going, "Yeah, great idea, me! I'm so spontaneous." This little spike, called the readiness potential, became one of neuroscience's most controversial curveballs, because it suggested that the thing we call free will might just be a clever delay in perception, like a TV broadcast on a few-second lag, except you are the TV. People freaked out. Was this proof we don't have free will? Are we just watching our own lives unfold like passengers on a neurological roller coaster? Not so fast. Libet's experiment shook the world. Your brain starts prepping actions before you even feel like you've made a choice. So, are we just puppets with strings pulled by neurons? Well, not quite. Let's pump the brakes. Libet didn't just say, "Free will is dead." He actually gave us a lifeline, something called the veto. Here's how it works. Imagine your brain is a race car revving at the starting line, ready to speed off. That's the readiness potential kicking in. The brain prepping your move. But you're the driver holding the brake pedal. At the last moment, you can slam the brakes and stop the car before it zooms away. In Libet's later experiments, participants were able to do exactly that. Stop a movement even after their brain started getting ready. It's like having an emergency cancel button inside your mind. But, and this is important, Libet's original experiments involved very simple choices. Flick your finger. No stakes, no moral dilemmas, no choosing between pizza or salad for dinner. Real life is way messier. Modern brain imaging shows when you face real, complicated decisions, like picking a career or deciding to forgive someone. Your prefrontal cortex lights up like a control tower. This part of your brain weighs pros and cons, imagines futures, and helps you override quick impulses. Neuroscience legend Daniel Kahneman calls this your slow brain, the thoughtful, deliberate part that can pull the reins on your impulsive, fast brain. Picture this. Your fast brain is a hyperactive dog charging after a squirrel, and your slow brain is the calm owner holding the leash, sometimes letting the dog run, sometimes pulling it back. And in everyday life, you can see this veto power in action anytime you almost send that 2 a.m. text, but then delete it. Your brain cooked up a move, but you press the mental undo. So, is free will dead? Nope. Free will isn't a magical force creating choices from nowhere. It's more like a skilled editor deciding which scenes make the final cut. It's less about starting every decision and more about your ability to edit, veto, and steer your actions before they fully play out. So yeah, we can hit the brakes. You can stop your finger from twitching, your hand from hitting send, your mouth from blurting that thing you'll regret later. But here's the twist. What if the brain starts making decisions way before there's even anything to veto? I'm not just talking about finger flicks anymore. I'm talking about the big stuff, who you trust, who you blame, who you fall for. Turns out, your brain has a lot going on behind the scenes, and it might be making up your mind before you even realize there's a decision to be made. Let's rewind to a pretty wild experiment. Back in 2010, scientists gave people a simple moral scenario. A man gives his friend a cup of coffee, not knowing it's been poisoned. A friend dies. A tragedy, but not a crime, right? Most people said, no, he didn't mean to. It was an accident. But then, researchers pulled a neuroscience trick straight out of science fiction. They used transcranial magnetic stimulation, magnetic pulses that gently scramble a specific part of the brain, right behind the right ear. This area is called the right temporoparietal junction, the brain's empathy hub that helps us understand what someone intended. And here's the kicker. When that part of the brain got scrambled, people judged the same man way more harshly. Same story, same actions. Suddenly, yeah, he's guilty. Why? Because when your empathy switches off, you stop seeing intentions and only react to the outcome. So next time someone seems unreasonably harsh, maybe their empathy switch is running on low battery. The empathy switch reveals a wild truth. Our brains can hijack our sense of right and wrong before we even realize it. Meaning free will isn't always in the driver's seat. But buckle up, because it gets crazier. When faced with opinions that clash with our own, your brain doesn't just pause to think. It sounds the alarm like you're under attack. When someone hears a political idea that clashes with their views, like raise taxes or ban guns, the amygdala lights up like a fire drill. That's the brain's threat detector, not your inner philosopher. It's not logic kicking in first. It's threat detection. Even harmless words can feel like a full-on attack. But here's the twist. Change just a few words, and suddenly the brain calms down. That's why political ads carefully pick their words. They want to trigger emotions before reason has a say. So your inner Spock, not the boss here. It's your inner guard dog, barking at anything new or different. Have you ever locked eyes with someone and feel an instant connection? In speed dating experiments, scientists recorded participants' brain activity as they interacted. And what did they find? The brain's reward system, especially the nucleus accumbens, lit up seconds before people consciously reported attraction. That fluttery feeling of this person is special. Your dopamine circuits already made that call. You're just catching up. Love at first sight? More like dopamine at first glance. Here's the twist tying all this together. Your conscious mind. It's not the mastermind. It's the spokesperson. Like a PR rep showing up after the decision's already in motion, saying, yep, I meant to do that, totally under control. Psychologists call this confabulation. When we confidently explain our choices, even if the real decision happened behind the scenes. You're not lying. Your brain's just filling in the blanks, trying to make the story make sense. But here's the hopeful part. Your brain's backstage wiring. It didn't just appear out of nowhere. It was shaped by your genes, your upbringing, your culture, your habits, every conversation, every heartbreak, every rerun of your favorite show. But it's not set in stone. Neuroscience shows that your brain is plastic and changeable. That wiring can evolve. And awareness is the first spark. Because once you notice the invisible scripts running the show, the emotional alarms, the snap judgments, the stories your brain fills in, you can start to rewrite them. Not all at once, not perfectly, but over time, you gain more room to pause, more room to choose, more room to steer. And that room, that's where your truest freedom lives. Free will isn't about being perfectly rational. It's about being aware enough to rise above your autopilot. To say, hey, I see what's happening, but I'm going to respond, not just react. And that's not just free will. That's how change begins. That's how the story turns. Not by erasing your past, but by rewriting what comes next. That's not just you choosing. That's you becoming fully awake, fully human, and finally, truly free.
Yeah!